Welcome to Elite 6 Think Tank, an open discussion group with business owners who share their knowledge, experience and skills. Good morning everyone, welcome along. Welcome along to Elite 6, our Think Tank meeting. Nice to have you all. Are you going to join us, Christo? Yeah, you can come back in after. If you want to listen to the podcast, you'll be on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. You threw a rock at it. That's right.
Alright, so welcome along. So last week we had a pretty good meeting. We talked about, what did we talk about last week?
I don't know, but we're now talking about Teslas and how they're not up to scratch.
Teslas. Good afternoon, Rob Woolley.
Tesla,
Trying to be fashionable. Alrighty.
Looks very sexy. It looks like a DeLorean.
I'm sure people listening to us are thinking this is a really good conversation. Alright. We have a topic, how to make your money grow. We come from that topic from last week because we talked about creating financial freedom and having a business that you own that doesn't own you, and it moved into ways of, or things that you could do with your money to help create a bit of financial freedom. That's what I got from it. If you haven't been to our Think Tank meeting, welcome Josh from iTops. If you don't know about iTops, you can find it afterwards. We have to vacate the building by 11 o'clock today. I've got a meeting here at 11, so after the meeting, if we can carry on talking, but we'll try to do it out there if we can. We've got 3 bulls. If you want to talk, put your hand up, I'll give you a bull. If you're talking too long, I'll come and apply the bull into your hand, and you can round up your conversation if you don't mind. And that's how we keep it going. So we've got 4 parts of the meeting. Helen's doing our scribing today, and we usually talk about people's experiences that they've had with investments. You want to talk about that? Solutions you may have, because I know one thing that I struggled with is I always thought if you are going to invest in any money, you have to have money first. But James, that was here last week, talked about the power of actually saving up your loose change that you have on your drawer, and I said I had $130 sitting on my drawer loose change I didn't count up for a year. So there's just investments can start from little bits and pieces. So anyone got anything they'd like to start on? If you talk about your experience with investments, if anyone had some good things they're glad they did, or some silly things they wish they never did.
I realised you need money first before you make it grow. I left this meeting and I went back to my photocopier and I put a $10 note and a $20 note and I put 200% and I photocopied it, and my money grew at the same rate. So
I like it.
So I decided that I needed money first to make it grow, because if I didn't have the money I couldn't have done it. So that was where I started from.
No, I like that. Now if you listen to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he actually, his dad come home one day and he was actually trying to make money out of lead, because he thought that's how you make money. So that's not far from it really. That's the modern version of it. Photocopy your money. Ben?
If you don't have money to invest, you first got to invest in yourself. With knowledge and skills and experience, so that you can then use that to create surplus in order to then invest.
This year my goal was to get debt free, but I'm pretty close, except for yesterday, the other day when I crashed my car, long story. But having money in the bank actually influences the way I make decisions a lot easier now. When you're not, what's the old saying, when you're working for the dollar instead of not working for the man? Yeah, so it is a nice way to run a business when you're not chasing the dollar. Nick?
So that loose change thing has something about it though. So even if you don't have a huge amount of money, I mean, you copied $10, what's to say that in 2 weeks you then copied another $10, you've got $20 if you keep going at that. So yes, you do have to have some money to make money, but you don't have to have a huge amount. And there's probably very few people in this room that couldn't put away $20 a week into something, and then as that starts to grow, then keep reinvesting it. So it's not about having to have tens of thousands of dollars right at the start, it's about making a conscious decision to actually start. Is probably the bigger part of it.
Wow, awesome. I like that. Yep. Mark?
Well, picking up on the $20 a week, probably the best thing to do with that for $20 is put it in your KiwiSaver, because you then that gets you over.
Another one.
No, but that gets you the $1,040 per year, which gives you the $560 government contribution.
Very true.
That's the best $20 you can ever spend, really, because there's not many places will give you that level of thing. But the other thing, the other thing was that I sort of left last meeting, it's been a process I've been going through, is reflecting on your own business and those overheads that you have that are good and bad. And I've actually got a bad overhead in the sense that I work for an organisation. They've been great to me, but I am a contractor, so I'm on my own business. But I'm paying out 16 grand a year basically to be associated with this organisation that I get nothing back from. No business leads or anything like that. And so my big decision over the last 7 days was I need to remove myself from that so I can use that 16 grand a year in a better way.
Okay, so you consolidate your debt.
Consolidate debt.
I'll give it a go. I'll give it a roll. Thank you. But we have. Okay, thank you.
So there's a couple of things. There's a really good book, and it's a podcast that I'm listening to at the moment called Profit First, and it's by Mike McCowitz. I can't say his last name properly, but basically what he's done is he's created, and it's all about owning your own business, and that when you have your own business, the last person you pay is yourself because there's never enough money. And in the book, he talks about, and I think it's Henderson syndrome or something like that, the less money in your bank account, the more money you actually create to pay your bills. So if that's the case, why not pay yourself first a small percentage of everything that comes into your bank account? So whenever somebody pays you some money, let's say it's $20, they pay you $20, take 1% of that and put it in a bank account that you can't see and it's not part of all of your other bank accounts. And that then starts becoming the norm. So you'll make up that extra 20% somewhere else. Another sale will come in to replace that. But if you can get into that habit of paying yourself first, it becomes a habit, and there will be the money that's there, and if you just keep firing it away. The second one was the one that I said last week was Harmony, talking about $20 a week. It's $25 to invest in a personal loan. That's the minimum amount that you can invest is $25. Now potentially on that $25, depending on the loan, some loans are returning 25% per annum in interest. So you just start weighing that up of what it can return, and then once you reinvest the capital, and that's called what again? Reinvest compounding interest. Then you've got that compounding interest going on. KiwiSaver is always great, but you've got to diversify it, in my opinion. But do your own research because it's not secured. But the thing is that you can only put a maximum of $100 in per loan. So you're spreading the risk, basically.
I've been telling people about that all week. Sam, did you have a ball? I think you did. Oh, and Rob, you got 4 points for us today?
I think I got 3.
Right.
So I'll be as brief as I can. A long time ago, I was on a reasonable income and had massive debt, and I couldn't get out of it. And so I was having a look at, like the interest rates, and so, like every dollar that came in, you tried to put on the debt. And an interesting thing happened. I decided, right, I was walking into Whitcoulls, and there was a book there which had something on the cover that really resonated with me. I bought it, and the advice was counterintuitive to everything I knew. So I thought, if you've got debt that's incurring interest, you lower the debt, you're going to not have to hand out extra money in interest. You're better off. This book said no, pay your debt off as slow as you can. And it said along the lines of what you're saying, that you pay yourself first. You put it into account, you never touch it. You look at that every now and again and you feel wealthy because I've got some money in there. you take your personal money that you're going to spend and you take it out of the bank, cash in your wallet. So every time you buy anything, you've got to pull money out and you're making a decision every time. Do I really need that? And more often than not, you don't spend it, which means you feel rich and you're not spending as much. I managed to go and get all the money that I owed off of a mate, throwed up, like a legal expression of how it was all going to work. I paid them off in 2 years, and the moment that I signed that up, I felt rich. And I wish I was still doing it, to be perfectly honest, but you pay yourself first and spend cash, and you can see it go.
I always have a lucky $100 note in my wallet, and every now and again I get 2 of them, and I give it to somebody else, and they're not allowed to spend it, because I believe if you always have a bit of cash in your wallet. I've given away quite a few of them, so if you haven't got one, you're not really a deep, meaningful friend. Just saying, Rob. Tim, not Tim, change your name, have you? What do you keep changing your name for? You know how hard it is for me?
Sim.
It's a 3 letter.
Sam.
If you give me that $100 note, I'll take it and put it on my photocopier for you.
You can come back 10 photocopies.
Ever since I've had the $100 note in my wallet, I believe it brings me luck, because I'm a wee bit superstitious. So people who are down on their luck, who are good buggers, will get $100. So it's not about the money, is it?
I'm feeling unlucky.
Yeah.
I've had a great week. Yeah.
You hear? I can tell you a wee story about one of our members who lost his wife. 2 days later, his shop got broken into and they stole all the laptops. Yesterday, somebody driving down the road who had a heart misevent drove into his car, and he saw his car flying across. And I said, Paul, that's 3. No more,
Have you given him $100?
Oh, yeah, well.
You needed them 3.
We have it, yeah, but that's amazing. I think things happen in 3s, and I've lost our train of thought. Tim, Sam, Jim,
But
Ben.
Hayes' comment about the 1% or percentage pay yourself first. I think if you're running a limited liability company or anything government created, you've got to pay the government first, don't you?
We've got no accountants here. I cannot confirm or deny.
Yeah, you've got to pay the government first, because then you can work out from there what is then owing to the government at the end of the financial year.
No.
no.
No. You pay yourself first. 1%. It's still part of your books. It's not like you're ripping off your books. But if you pay yourself first, the tax still gets paid. But if you get $20 in and you're putting 20 cents aside, the accounts still account for the $20. So it's all part of good bookkeeping. It's not you're stealing or not paying all your other bills. But if you, it's about the habit, and it's about conditioning your brain that you deserve to be paid first. We all do. And we had a discussion at one of our groups, our group in Brighton, and said
That's the best
Danny
of Exex group, isn't it?
it's the best. We're so good.
That's not what he says.
Danny said, imagine working for $10 an hour. I would love in my business to be paid $10 an hour for the work that I do at the moment, because I don't.
Yeah.
But why is that? Is because I pay everybody else first and see what little minute amounts left over. Instead of doing 1%, you won't miss it. And once that condition of your brain goes, oh my God, I just paid myself 20 cents, I've got to make 20 cents back, another sale will come in to replace that, and it's just...
You'd have to agree with that, Tim, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think there's a really good YouTube video.
I'm hearing you, but one of the aspects of, that's cool. Yeah,
Hey,
right.
see, I'm right, okay?
For a created entity, yes.
Okay, there's a YouTube video of a guy, and he's got 2 jars. You would have heard me talk about it before. One of the jars is full of golf balls, and the other jar is half full of sand. And the object of the game is to put everything into one jar. So the guy gets the golf balls and he tries to put it into the jar that's half full of sand, and he's got half golf balls and didn't get the task done. So he took all the golf balls out and he put them back into the other jar, and he got the sand and he tipped it around the other golf balls, and everything fitted in. Then the smart aleck pulled out a bottle of beer and he tipped that around in there, and he said there's always room in life for a beer as well, and it all fitted. So it isn't what I reckon you're saying. It's about priorities. Now I smashed the car this week. It's probably going to cost me $5,000 to fix it. I'll find that money, and I'll still pay my tax. But why is it when we have an emergency we seem to find the money? Why can't we find that money and put it into some sort of investment? Because everything fits around anyway.
It's fear.
Fear?
Definitely fear. Because what it is that you hold on to that money rather than paying yourself so that the money actually flows through. And it always flows. You'll always find another job for that money to come through. It's actually your relationship with money. I've just finished reading a really good book called The Barefoot Investor. This actually should be in high school education for everybody. It's that good.
Yeah, it's really good. That was the hot chocolate going the wrong way.
But yes, and here goes right down to the nitty gritty of dividing your money up into buckets, what you should invest in, other than just rental properties. It is a very good book. It's a good read.
Thank you very much. David Clarkson. Sorry. You're a thinker. What are you thinking?
It depends a lot on what's happening with the economy. I can always remember back in the days, aged hit, when the interest rates were upwards of sort of 18, 22, 23%. Talking back in the 80s now. And one of the things that I focused on, my major debt at that stage was a young married man and family and what have you. And it was cheaper for me, the best way to be able to handle any excess money that I had other than looking after the food and stuff and the roof over my head and the clothes on my back, was to fire that money into my mortgage, because if I invested the money anywhere else I was going to end up paying tax on it. But what I could do is, because the sort of mortgage that I'd fixed up for myself allowed to put a minimum on how much I had to repay each period, but didn't put a maximum amount on it. And so, in actual fact, the best return on the money was in fact reducing the amount of interest that I was paying by paying that money back, and it was better than investing the money somewhere else rather than paying back the mortgage and then having to pay tax on that. So it's a matter of priorities, and it's a matter of taking account of what the economic situation is at the time that you are, because you're not independent of that. It's got to be part of the decision making process.
Cool. Mark, you can talk prematurely without a ball. Do you have a ball now? Oh, Rob.
You reminded me.
Yes.
You reminded me of the key point of that book.
Yes.
And it said that people do not like money. Right. It said if you remove the idea that we're talking about money and you substituted it with anything else, have a look at how quick and how many ways people try to get rid of it. So if you earn money, the first thing you want to do is to go buy your car, your house, to go out at the weekend, to eat out, blah, 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 blah. And the more money you get, the more ways you invent to get rid of the money. And it said, if you have a look at the people that have no money, who must in some way hate money the most, is that if you work and you got holiday pay, what do you do when you get holiday pay?
Go on holiday.
You go on a holiday to get rid of the money. You pay your power bill in advance, your phone bill in advance. You probably don't do that now because it's automatic. But you used to go and spend it and get rid of it as fast as you could, because you thought, I have to right, I'm going to run out of money over these holidays. I therefore need to use the money that I've got now to go and buy the groceries and everything in advance, the smokes, whatever it was. You all got rid of it as fast as you could because you knew you were going to run out of money, right? But if you didn't know you were going to run out of money, you would just hold on to it and enjoy having it. But everybody gets rid of money.
Oh, there you go. Let's get rid of your money.
Yeah.
Mark.
I guess following on from Rob's theme is that I wish I could apply to my life the knowledge that I have now back 30 plus years ago, because I'd be in a far better position than I am now, but I think that's part of our growth state. But I remember the days when I first qualified as a teacher back in the day. You actually used to get 6 weeks holiday pay at Christmas time, and my God, that was a lot of money, and you tended to blow. If I could have thought back then what I know now, that money could have been going in and buying a house and all those sort of things. But thinking about the barefoot investor point, really it's about paying off that bad debt, and things that are high interest bearing, they're the ones that are going to kill you in the end. So you really need to get rid of those. But picking up on what Rob's saying, if it's a low interest account, maybe just leave that there and make your money work better for you in other places. But that high interest debt, pay off.
Brilliant. Josh?
I would probably say something a little bit controversial, but
brilliant.
Danny,
my name came up.
You mentioned your car crash and having to fork out $5,000. Why do you have to spend $5,000 if you're not having insurance?
He's insured.
Yeah. Well, if you do want to know, when you buy a brand new car, 1.5% interest, $31,000, and you've had it for 10 months, that means I have $28,000 left on it to pay. But since I've had that car, I've driven 25,000 Ks in a year, so the agreed value is what they will pay out on, and I'm assuming, which I don't know yet, that car would not be worth $28,000 after 10 months. I reckon they'll come back and say it's worth 24 million, 24,000 or 25, and then I'll have to top it up.
Yeah. Okay.
When I bought an $88,000 car, the dealership said that we want you to take an additional insurance because we know that the insurance company won't pay out the replacement value, and they wanted another $10,000 insurance on top of my insurance company. But I didn't think about that with this $31,000 car.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
One of the things that I've always done is just absolutely minimise insurance, and I think at one stage I worked in this company that kind of validated what I was thinking. If you've got excess money, let's face it, at the end of the day, insurance companies are making money, and it's a business making profit out of people's fear about risk. Of course, if you don't have a bit of excess money, you kind of can't self-insure. But at one stage I was working for HP, and we had to move all of the computers in one building to another building. And what happens if that truck crashes on the way or anything like this? We're talking about a lot of servers, it's worth a lot of money. And so we were kind of concerned about the risk of that. And we went back to corporate about it, and they said anything less than $10 million risk we don't insure. We'll just pay out ourselves for it. So they don't bother with insurance. And I will take some risks, but other risks, of course, I will have insurance for. But I've found over the years that that in some ways that ends up paying off. You've got to accept that if something goes wrong, like your car, you're suddenly going to get hit with a $5,000 bill to pay out for it.
Yeah.
But you've got to think about the 10 years previous to that that you've been saving $500 a year, and that's accumulated over those 10 years.
I can give you a really good example, and I get where you're coming from, and I'm not knocking it. The young guy that was 17 years of age driving the customer's car after it being serviced for Blackwell Mazda, who drifted over the other side of the road and crashed into my car. Imagine if Blackwell Mazda didn't have insurance. Then they would, because the young fella's not really at fault because he's working for the company, and he's totaled a client's car and my car, You know, and that would have cost that company. He could have driven into anything.
Yeah, I'm not saying no insurance.
Yeah.
So, for example, our company cars, they're all insured.
Mm.
But my personal car for the last 25 years, I've never had insured.
Really?
Why?
I hope you don't smash into a jag.
No.
Well, that's the fear that everyone has.
Yeah.
No, I've
But-
never.
And,
no,
and that's
I've
actually
never
that's
had-
actually a good valid thing. So what you're sort of saying is thinking different. I really support
Yeah.
that. You know, and it is a bit of a gamble. And being
Well,
entrepreneurial, we all take a bit of a gamble
But it's-
anyway in some
but it's
things.
a gamble
Yeah.
that the insurance companies have already evaluated and decided that they can make profit out of it.
Mm.
So rather than give money to the insurance companies to make their profit out of it, I just hold on to the money and I'll make profit myself, assuming I don't have a major crash. And look, I've had multiple crashes over that time, but never have they been into a jag, and never has it been major. It's it's usually like you were just
into a
backed into it was something minor, and so it's about $1,000 or whatever.
And do you have an account for that, or do you actually just use your business account?
I've always just I've always got a buffer
Yeah.
so that if something goes wrong, that I've got the money to pay for it, because you've got to have that.
God,
So-
I've ridden off 3 vehicles in my lifetime. I'm ahead of
Might
the
be not
game.
And I guess one of the other things is with all the damage through the earthquakes, obviously insurance is paid off for a lot of people on that front as well. So
I think what we're talking about is actually fear, isn't it? I don't personally. I actually say it quite a lot. I hate commercialism, and I don't like Christmas because I don't like falling in line with having to buy presents for everyone. Sorry, Helen. Yeah, it looks nice. So I think we're all that sort of thinking where we have to. But when I started business, I didn't have all my boxes ticked. But now I've got the money to. I think I'd rather have it. Like I'm going away to Bangladesh. When I had the accident, I'm sitting in the doctor's surgery about to get some jabs, and this car comes along like Dukes of Hazzard on 2 wheels, bang, pop, and then I see this car out the window going down the road with his airbags off, thinking, man, that guy's had a big accident. So I am in there getting jabs because I'm worried about my health while I'm away. I'm not going to take the $500 that I paid for my jabs and put it in the bank and use that to get myself out of Bangladesh, if you know what I'm saying. So there's
managing
what point?
risk.
Manage risks.
Yeah.
And it is another way of getting ahead because that can also be slowing us down.
Just on that note, we had a client at the time of the earthquakes. I think he had something like 15 or 17 houses or something, which he self-insured, which was fine.
Really?
Until the time of the earthquake.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, his theory was beforehand that he was saving, whatever, $2,000 a year or whatever it was on all
He
the
was
houses.
too.
And he was, and if he had a fire, he would have been perfectly fine.
If it was just one house,
One
not
house, and
17.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
And it wasn't
Anyway.
like the company with 10 million sitting there.
Yeah.
He wasn't a very perfect man.
Just in line with our topic here, ways to invest your money.
And the insurance companies also lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helen and I have made $200 just being here so
That was
far.
my point.
Only Rob can have 3 or 4 points in
No,
one
we got two.
session.
It's fine.
Just 2. First point.
Yeah.
You just don't
But
get to do it.
the only thing I was going to say is, how to make money or whatever. And someone said earlier, it's all about mindset. When I was about 13, I heard my father say to somebody else, "Never use your own money when you can use the bank's." And he's regretted saying that from my earshot ever since. So I'm at a point at the moment that, I've got some equity. It hasn't actually occurred to me to go and pay more money off my mortgage when my mortgages roll over. My mindset just goes, okay, Mr. Westpac, which house are you going to buy for me now? Because money's cheap.
So why don't you look at it like I was saying last week, I was talking about shared portfolio, something where you can put a regular amount of money every week automatically goes into an account, and carry on running your business like you do. Because I've sort of lived that
Oh,
sort
it's
of
no personal money though, but money from the bank's cheap, so
Yeah.
go out and
So
buy
what's
something
the
else.
point
and
of
get it
having
right.
money in the bank?
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm
Money
saying.
is
Well,
don't get any value from having it in the bank.
yeah, like I'm pretty sure we get all $400 a week going somewhere. So why don't we do that sort of stuff? And does that make a difference? $5,000 a year going somewhere. Next year we'll stand here and we go, oh, $5,000 then. Rob and okay,
Helen.
Rob and then Helen. I run the show around here. Yeah, Rob, my friend.
So, shut up. I am one of my business. I buy and sell, and a friend of mine buys and sells, and he has got a massive amount of stock. In terms of what we do, I'd say his stock, if he were to liquidate it, would be 100k plus, which, like, in the scheme of things, is quite big. And I say to him, how come all of that is not available for sale? And he said, no, because that's my nest egg. He said, that's my security, right? And when he gets hard up, he puts more on eBay, you know, and it flows out, goes on holiday. You can't make your money grow if your money is locked up in stock. But to make it relevant to everybody else in this room who doesn't necessarily buy or sell, how much of your money is locked up inside of your energy, which is not expended every day to make money?
Yeah, if he's doing antiques like you, aren't they appreciating the value?
No, definitely not.
Because every day he lives in there, the antiques, they get older, they worth more.
No. Every day he or I leave them there, we're losing money, right? Particularly if it's not online, right? And it's actually got to the point now, right, if I go into an estate or whatever to buy, I say, I'm going to make you X today, right? Because if I come back in 6 months, it'll be half X, because that's where the market's going, right? You got to buy it and you got to get rid of it now. But most of us float in what we're doing, right? And if we worked harder and if we maximise our ability to earn today, tomorrow, and next week, right, then we'd have extra money and we'd be able to, you know, utilise the options to grow money.
It just made me work harder. I don't want to do that.
Well, work harder, work smarter.
Ways to grow your money. So it doesn't matter if we earn $100,000 or $25,000 a year. We're talking about ways to grow your money. So if you have $2,500 sitting here in front of you, and I said I want to give you 3 months, what are you going to do with it? Not much money, but what would you do with it? That's what we're talking about. Oh, madame.
You're forgetting your wife again.
Why?
5.
Oh, yeah,
He always wants here.
Sorry, we had a protester. Who was? I've lost the thought of that. Oh, sorry, Helen. Oh, I see what you were saying. Sorry, wife first, please.
What we were talking about before and last week, just diversifying your assets, interests, putting them into all different things. And what Kay said, I think, was fantastic about harmony. And I looked into that, and I'm going to get into that. But it's funny because the money that you get, like, you know, I see a little bit building up in my bank, and I go, oh, great, now what can I put that towards? And like what you were saying, put it towards a holiday. It's not like that nest egg that I think about. I put it towards things that I want now, and that mindset is more that, you know, live for the moment than live for your future, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you,
we
wife.
all think differently.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I know your name, and Tracy.
Yes.
I'm going to practice that every day from now on, I promise.
So I had after reading this book, I actually look at the industries that have basically just booted up. So the wellness industry is one of those that is basically growing tenfold. So recently the email just came through from Be Pure, and they've actually put that out to the market for shareholders to invest. So it's a certain amount to actually grow your money. And I think that's actually quite a good way to actually get on the ground or level to make money. There's another company too called Puro, and they're actually a cannabis as well.
Yeah, now you're talking good.
You're going to say that. No. It's the cannabis oil for.
I've never done any drugs, just for the record, policeman. Sam, my friend.
You've only got to the
Oh, really?
We've got $2,500 in front of us. You're still thinking of ways to spend it.
Can I just say, Tracy, about that? So that Puro, the cannabis oil, so you can invest in that.
Yes, so Stephen has just said you've only got
It's
until
about
the
the
4th.
4th or the 12th of December. They're
Oh,
trying to
okay,
get
yeah.
It's interesting. I'm finding all the potheads in Elite Six actually because they all light up when they say cannabis. Sorry, Sam.
So, well, a good number of years ago, there used to be this competition that you started in Invercargill in your underwear, and you had to get to Auckland with $1 million in your pocket.
How'd that go?
How far did you get?
They're still going. 50 years and they're still
I got to Winston.
over a period of, I think, 2 weeks or a month. And it was the wealthy guys that did it as a competition. But they weren't allowed to use their own money. They only used their connections and things like that. And they started, in Invercargill in their underwear.
Yep.
And got to Auckland. The one with the most money and the most toys got to Auckland was the winner.
Now, how much money did they start with? Because I remember this story. It was like $500, and the guy went and hired a suit, went and got a job, and was driving like a Porsche within hours, just because of his connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Dolph telling me about it, and he did it a couple of times, which was fantastic. So I think one day they'd be neat to try and do.
That's the thinking. So, yeah, it would be interesting. We should have a wee challenge,
I'd
right?
end up in Gore a month later, still in my underwear.
That is a thought that will not come out of my mind. Save us, Nick. Don't laugh
So
at
$2,500 in front of us right now.
Yeah.
It really depends on how much of a long-term investment you want. Because for $2,500, you could do a lot of investing in yourself and in your education and in your skill set to earn more money further down the track. So, do we put money in to make money, or do we put money into us to actually invest in ourselves and make more down the track?
I watch a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and if you're listening, Gary, give me your phone number because I'd like to bring you and talk to you one day. But he goes garage sailing, and he goes in and he buys a $15 item, puts it on eBay and sells it for $50. And a lot of those, they call them, I forgot what they're, hustlers. Hashtag hustlers, look at them. They're buying shoes on special, going and selling for mid-range price and still selling them. But I've done a lot of that in my time. What happens is after a while, like with our online shops, we're now inundated with administration and it bottlenecks the business. So a lot of that stuff where you get your $2,500, go buy a whole lot of shit on some platform like Trade Me, and then go to a garage sale and resell it, repackage it, make it look nicer, clean it up, you're going to find that you're time poor. So my question is, what are we starting with? Is it the money or is it the time that we're struggling with?
What about the profit margin?
Yeah, funny. Oh, there's a lady
with,
over here. My
with
wife.
that sort of thing, Trade Me, when you're putting things on Trade Me, I had a lot of things. I had lots of kids' shoes and clothes and good quality stuff, but they just didn't sell. And the time that it takes to write up all the descriptions, and then you get people asking stupid questions, what size is it? And you've already put that on there. And it's time poor. I just do not have the time to do that. A friend of mine made $2,000 putting all her kids' things on Trade Me, and she did really well, but I just don't have the time. I'd rather just give them away to Sally Army.
I have
and
all
do it
my
that way.
old clothes.
Yeah.
I can't sell them. They are
Yeah.
brand new
Yeah.
clothes. I don't know.
Just
They're
give
not
them away.
brand new because I still have the labels on. You've
They
worn them.
had a lot of
Did
them
you hop on
have
them?
no. They have labels
should
still
model
on because I model them because they are now smaller.
And then you
So
get to a
that
certain
It's
doesn't
point.
look good.
You get to a certain point with Trade Me where they start taxing you, or they class you as a business, and you're trying to make a side income
I
just as
know.
a
Go on
hero.
marketplace,
But
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Good to get stolen
But
here.
Yeah.
it's also
Trade me.
people
Alright.
are really
Oh
awful.
no! I mean, you have to start
Don't pick
paying
it
tax
up
or whatever.
and-
I can't remember what it was, but they class you as a company once you start
Yeah.
making a bit of money through it. It's not like a personal thing where
That was
Dad
with
just
my
wants to
week.
sell a pair of shoes. You're starting to make a business.
Um,
pretty much.
Let's just hear from Rob because I know Rob has 18,000 people who have written reviews about him on Trade Me. Is that right?
About 19,000.
Okay, 19,000.
I think I'll just diversify from what I was going to talk about. If you sell on Trade Me, you have got no option of how you sell on Trade Me anymore, because it used to be you could throw it on, like no reserves, and away it goes, and it would find its money. There's so much stuff on there now that half of it can't be found. So if you want to sell on Trade Me, anybody online here, all right, you put the price on that you want to get, and you sit on it and be prepared to own it for the next year.
Yeah.
But you will sell it on your feedback. You will sell it on your feedback. If you have really massively high feedback, you will sell it because the people know that if I buy off this person, it is going to be what I think it is. And if I buy off of anybody else, I'm not too sure.
Credibility.
Yeah, right. But
point number 2.
Point number 1 on topic is, I think the greatest way to make your money grow is to invest in yourself and your ability to earn. Because true financial freedom or anything like that is your ability to earn. If you had no money in your bank account, in your wallet, but you had the ability to earn, you're rich. And you're feeling rich. And I think that's the important
I
thing.
believe, I don't do university, I didn't do school.
It
Yeah,
shows.
we did kindergarten. But I believe there's a pie and it's got different pieces, and you do need to do. I'm really big on personal, what do you call that? Personal development. Education. I had to fill out some forms for my visa, and as soon as I got the form, I remember what it was like at school. Having to learn, I couldn't absorb the information, so I had to find my own way to learn and absorb information. And at the end of it, I think it just comes down to percentages. How much energy you need to get up in the morning, at the mindset of how you feel about what you're doing, what charges you up so you can get through the day, is what I put personal development down to. So I mean, if I was going to put $2,500 here on the desk and I was going to invest it, what goes through my mind is how much time, energy and effort do I need to put in to get a return on this money? Is my time better utilised somewhere else that I'm more passionate about, and putting that money somewhere away for a certain amount of time to when I'm in the right mindset to do something better with it? Because it's timing is everything in business. If you had that $2,500 in front of you when there was a recession on, it may be different to when there isn't one. We could combine the $2,500 in the room and have $30,000 and then get an expert, we get Kay, to put that $30,000 and do that job for us. Is that a better investment? You using somebody else's strength and then us focusing on something else that we are good at.
No, but you already have those people to do that, like Craig Investments. So if you win $15 million,
yes,
that's the first thing that you'd be going to do, is going to see one of those people to
Yep.
sit down, have a conversation, and see where you put money gives you money overnight as well, so that you're not thinking about it, just concentrate what's working for you.
Yeah, and that's why I talked to us Craig Investments, funny enough. Alright, where did we get to here? And thank you, Helen, for trying to make. We've got 10 more minutes. Who hasn't had a go? Just thinking about that. Okay.
I've got investment advice. Isn't that what we're here for?
If you can help me grow my $2,500.
So Tracy, I think, just mentioned, and it triggered for me. So the website that you want to probably go in and have a look at if you're looking at investing in something like Be Pure, and they've got a list of possible investments, is snowballeffect.co.nz. Direct investment into high growth New Zealand companies, and one of them is Be Pure. But there's also a list of a whole heap of other ones. So they also get into raising capital, angel investing, initial public offerings, investment banking, crowdfunding, venture capital, and private equity. So, and one of the ones that's within that to have another look at is Punakaiki Holdings Limited. So they again invest in startup businesses, and that's a bit more expensive to get into. The minimum investment on that one's $1,900.
James was actually looking at that one. He was quite intrigued by it. It was really good. He read up a lot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite cool. So what did we get? Where are we getting with this? This is quite good actually. I think we should all challenge ourselves to do something with $100 or something, or
See if you can grow.
over Christmas, man.
If you can grow.
So give me $100 now.
And why don't you make it a year?
Yeah, you could do.
$100 over the year, and then once a month everybody has to report on how the investment is growing.
Yeah.
Good idea.
What they did with it. I mean, I'd just go to Hard Money probably and chuck the $100 in there.
That's a bit easy.
Yeah, I know.
I'll just go to pokies.
Yeah.
And
That did cross my mind, yes.
I used to have a pub that had pokies, and I had this guy that would regularly come in on a Friday, and I kid you not, one Friday within 2 hours he sunk $1,400 into my machine.
wow.
Came out with $900 and said he had a great night.
Yeah. One of my clients was worth $60 million, and his wife was, they used to own motels, and a lovely couple, but every time we went to Blenheim, she said, we're just stuck into the pokies. And she'd win $1,000, and she'd sit there until it went. You know, and she was taking, it was just terrible. It was just a terrible situation to watch, but you couldn't work this out. They didn't have the 60 million now, but they still had a lot of money.
But did she go in with a certain amount and then won 1,000? And
No,
then
she
lose
just was
1,000?
hooked on the noise. I should have bought her the CD that the machine made, but it was just interesting watching it. And also, it wasn't just that. She didn't. Her husband hated the gambling because he was an entrepreneur, and she was just wasting all the money.
But he fed it by giving her money.
No, she'd help herself because she's married to him.
Well, we fed it by not doing anything about it.
Divorce would have been cheaper.
Anyway, just got to chuck that in there.
Spoken like a man who has been divorced. I know you have everything.
Where are we at? Where are we up to? Problems? We're probably going to be looking at takeaways, really. Yeah, takeaways are pretty cool.
I'll just add a point. About 20 years ago, I was right into the share market and stuff, and so I read every book I could. And there's like this big book on the share market, and it was written by a guy who spent decades investigating and researching how do you make money on the share market. He got all the data, crunched it, and he realised that everybody thinks that you're going to stumble upon the next big thing, and you're going to take $100 and become a millionaire. He said the data shows that the 20 biggest companies that are in operation any 1 year will make the largest return on average over the long term. You invest in big companies, established ones, and you leave your money in there.
Yes,
That's
that's
why-
what this guy says. Sorry.
Who's the richest
for
man in
cutting.
the world?
He's on to it.
He's
Warren
And
just-
look, I'm not bare feet, but I'm close.
He's jammed. Sorry, Sam, I missed that.
So like Warren Buffett, not long ago, he invested in Coca-Cola. He put a major amount of what he earned into Coca-Cola because it's got a good return on investment.
I met a Coca-Cola rep once, and he was certainly using some of that investment of Coca-Cola.
He was fizzing, wasn't he?
He was a big boy, and I've always thought of that Coca-Cola when they give their staff free Coke.
Oh gosh.
Just saying. Right, takeaways from today. No, not you.
I just think if we follow on from that, there's going to be a lot of people lining up to work in that oil industry. If they get a free sample of the cannabis oil.
No, it's purely wellness.
Mum used to work for DB. She used to get a crate of DBs, you know.
That was part of their system, wasn't it?
Yeah. My parents didn't drink beer.
Yeah. All right. So what do you do with the $2.5 grand, guys? That's pretty good.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure you can. That's what we're here for.
I want to know what everyone's viewpoint is on things like Bitcoin, the electronic money transfers.
Cryptocurrency.
Yes, because there is actually, it's happening now where we will become a cashless society. So there are two industries that are really freaking out, and that is the drug industry and the I can't say the other industry. You probably know what it is. So they're kind of freaking out and how to work because that's how they operate, just with cash.
Sex industry?
Yes. Thanks for saying that.
Thank you.
So I just really wanted to know what people's viewpoints were on that.
Like on
Sex industry is why we
yeah, I like the sex topic personally. Cryptocurrency. I mean, people were opening crypto accounts, weren't they? And then they were making like $2,000 in a short time, but that must be limited.
Really
So-
limited when Cryptopia went under and everyone's money disappeared.
Yeah,
Just 19 million.
20
Oops.
19 million.
Yeah. So yeah, really limited.
So there's an organisation that I'm part of, and I've got $2,500 or something like that in cryptocurrency. But the security for me is the fact that I don't have to have a wallet, and
Yeah.
this is what you're talking about, a wallet that's got a password and a login, and it's 100 digits long and all that sort of stuff. Once you lose that wallet, you are, yes, that's a good word. So, but this one that this one that I've got is part of a larger organisation, and it's actually a worldwide online marketplace where we're going to be able to use our cryptocurrency to buy and exchange a huge amount of goods, travel, insurances, groceries, and all that sort of stuff. So they've been working on this for years, and it's going to be huge, but we're just sitting back and waiting.
It's lots of fun going to a shop and paying for an item with $100 note, and they don't even have the money to change it.
I'm
I
going to China,
really enjoy that because it's
you need a life.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
What sad person goes down with $100?
50% lolly, please.
He's got a year and he decides in the car to get his undies. So
yeah.
they have to have a float, and I think it's something to do with the Reserve Bank Act that pretty much most businesses have to have a float.
This friend of mine went into, I think I've got a shop, and he paid $50 cash for a $16 something, and the girl pulled out a calculator. And I'm thinking, if you turned up and there was a person at the till and you gave them $100, they're probably going, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that you go to, like those food markets that are cashless now.
Yeah.
But that's,
They don't
I
have
don't. Somehow I think that's wrong, or that's just about even illegal, because the businesses have to be able to receive legal tender.
I don't
Cash
know
is
that
a
you do
four-lettered
now.
word, right? But legal tender is something
But
that is legal tender. They have to be able to receive it.
But FPOS is considered legal. See, it's more dodgy, I reckon, for those traders who used to receive the cash because you knew they had an open till and never paid tax. That used to always pee me off, and I'd go to someone else who at least had an accounting system, so I'm paying tax.
You're all going to be on. You're all going to be on TikTok, by the way, if you don't know what that is. All right, next week's topic. Now, bear in mind, I'm thinking on the last week, we've got 2 weeks left of Elite 6, and we could have a very casual meeting here on the last Friday, because it will be the last meeting of the year. And I'm going to do a bit of a push to get people here if I can. So, the last meeting of the year should be a bit of fun. I'd like to think ahead for the 2 weeks. 2 weeks, the 13th. which is
Black Friday.
Yeah, we could have a theme, a topic. I don't know what it is. Let's talk about it. Give it to me in 2 weeks. But next week's theme, where do we go and where do we want to go for next week?
How about tax?
Oh, wow! Yeah. Oh, let's do that tax.
I'm pretty sure I could have watched one year that day.
Bring Sam to a party. Do you know what tax is, Rob?
Efficient?
Efficient?
Are we being efficient?
Efficient? Efficiency?
Efficiency.
Efficiency? Sam?
Social conscience.
Hey.
Oh, that's a
Social
lovely one.
conscience.
Is
What,
we all
ethics?
hug it in?
I'm into that. Is it
Invest
ethics?
in tobacco companies.
What, social conscience?
Yeah, that's good.
What's that mean?
I'm
We'll
going
do
to
it.
say
We'll find out
something
next week.
in not upset Kay, because she's going to take it in the best way that it's meant.
Well, at least you're not going to upset me. It's good.
I have an issue with Harmony.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't invest in Harmony just because
Because they
the
charge
exploitation of
31%.
the poor people.
Yeah.
But that can be taken into the business, much bigger businesses. Are we doing right in our businesses socially? And is it right or wrong? Because that's absolutely fine that Kay invests in that.
It's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I
it
say
is.
do your research.
You know,
Yeah. But I reckon those
we
people
deal
who
with
sign up for
these people
31.
and these people on a daily basis, and
Yeah.
we need to be ensuring that we're treating everybody the same. No, everybody rightly.
Yeah, I don't
Equitable,
know.
not equal.
Has anyone here, which is an interesting topic, just to lead into one, has anyone ever got a loan? I went to the, I had a $1 million loan with the bank, went through a blah, 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 and I lost my house, and went back to the bank and said, I need $30,000, and they said no. I said, how can you give me $1 million? And now not give me 30. I said, say yes. And they come back and said, they said yes. And I went, wow, and they said 18.5% interest.
Westpac wouldn't give me a credit card. They'll let me buy a house.
Yeah, I know.
And
right?
then they'll give you the credit card after you've got the house,
Yeah.
the mortgage.
So I got a loan for 18.5% at the time. That was ridiculous. But has anyone else ever had a high interest loan to get by? You know, and then is that
Bridging
necessarily
loan,
bad? They
like
provide
a
the
bridging loan.
if you go to Harmony and they give you $20,000 when you need it.
A friend of mine's
Yeah.
got money with Harmony that
Yeah.
she just needed because she needed to pay off some debt, and that was the only way she could do it, and it's worked for her. That's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
A lot of people use it for business debt, just a short term until a payment comes through to just get them through
Yeah,
that
and that's
little gap.
basically what I did. But what, so if we did a topic on that, is it ethics or is it? I mean, is it a topic we can discuss right now?
Explain. Yeah, it's a good one.
It is
It's
a
a good
good
topic
topic.
too.
Particularly in how you can bring it into your business and the decisions you make in your business and how they impact both yourself, your personal life, and society.
Mm. What's that called? Give me no more than 5 words description for next week's meeting.
business and social conscience.
Well, it's like a moral code.
Moral decisions.
And everybody needs to remember to buy chocolate.
Ethical business.
That's an
Ethically made.
Yeah. See, last time she brought out one of those, she opened it. We got to sample them.
I would have done last time.
Hey, all right. Well, we'll finish the podcast off. Thank you very much for tuning in, and tune back next week if you want to learn about ethics and values and social having a social conscience when investing in other companies. Thanks for listening.